When the golden era of champions came to an end, the record books stayed frozen in time, and ever since then, no one has truly come close. Sure, a few have threatened those monuments, but the streaks remain. The years spent on the throne, the dynasties that once felt unbreakable. For the longest time, that was the blueprint.
You're looking at a guy that can win the fight at any moment from any place. You're looking at a guy with more victories in championship fights as a featherweight than any fighter that's ever lived.
Legacy meant longevity. If you wanted to be remembered, you didn't just win. You ruled, not for a few title defenses, but for a long, long time. You defended your crown again and again until your name was etched into history alongside the stats that proved your greatness in cold, hard numbers. But lately, something shifted. The streaks are shorter, the belts change hands faster, those records are still held by the old guard, and yet somehow, the moments feel bigger than ever. We're no longer just counting defenses, we're replaying shock knockouts, rivalry showdown, even going through an entire press conferences even long after the fight has concluded, because now we're talking about nights when one fight rewrote the whole story of a division in one night. And it's got us asking the question, is greatness still about how long you reign, or how loudly you arrive? You know, speaking of things that changed the game overnight, there's something else that made a real change in my own routine, and that's upgrading my sleep. Real talk, the biggest gains I've made in focus and recovery lately haven't just been from training, but from actually fixing my sleep with a legit mattress. So if you're serious about upgrading your sleep too, head to bearmattress.com/TFB and use code TFB for 40% off your Bear mattress. That's an undisputed deal right here. I recently realized how much my old mattress was holding me back, especially with all the time I spend working on content or trying to recover from training. I wanted something that would actually help me wake up feeling good, not tired and stiff. And what really impressed me with Bear was their sleep quiz. It took me about a minute. It just asked how you sleep, what kind of feel you like, and all that. Based on my answers, Bear matched me with the Elite Hybrid, which is their top-of-the-line model with advanced cooling features, great support, and the perfect balance of softness. Honestly, it feels like a luxury hotel bed, but designed for actual everyday recovery. The mattress comes compressed in a box, which is still wild to me. And all you have to do is open it up, lay it out, and watch it expand in minutes.
Holy shit, it's getting big! Pause!
Even if you're solo, you can set it up in under 10 minutes. A couple of things stood out to me. First, the cooling tech actually works. I sleep pretty hot, and with the Elite Hybrid, I'm not waking up all sweaty or flipping the pillow anymore. It just stays cool through the night. The 120-night sleep trial is also really huge. You get 4 months to try it out and see if it fits you. And if you don't love it, you can just return it. No stress. Since switching to the Bear Elite Hybrid, I honestly fall asleep faster. I feel more rested and just ready to go. And in comparison to my old mattress, it's just night and day. So, if you want to get serious about your sleep, head over to bearmattress.com/TFB. Use code TFB for 40% off. And just like switching up your sleep can change how you show up every day, the UFC is always one big moment away from a brand new era. Think about it. Anderson Silva, Jose Aldo, back when they were running through their divisions and setting records that still haven't been touched, it was a different time. Title fights meant something, and champions were fighting the best, sometimes multiple times a year. The landscape was built on those dominant reigns, and no matter how many times these two fought, the result was the same: domination. The headlines the next day were consistent. The reigning defending champion stole the show. If you scroll down just enough, you'd likely see the name of the poor stiff they slaughtered too. Anderson Silva was already an established champion and, pound for pound, the greatest fighter in the world.
I said it before and I'll say it again. Anderson Silva is pound for pound the best fighter in the world. Anybody who tries to debate that is out of their mind.
I can't play the full clip here because of copyright concerns, but I'm sure you've seen it already. But just to be sure, I'm talking about Silva absolutely clowning Forrest Griffin. That's what Anderson Silva did to his opponents. He didn't just win, he clowned them, embarrassed them, made them look like they didn't even belong in there with him.
Look at him, he's giving him his hand.
By the end, Anderson Silva managed 10 title defenses at 185 and 16 consecutive wins in the UFC. The second one is legitimately impressive, and the fact that the record still stands even today says a lot about Silva. But let's zone in on the first stats. Double-digit title defenses, 6 years as the kingpin, 9 finishes, highlight reel knockouts. Those are the first few thoughts that come to mind whenever we discuss Anderson Silva and his reign at the top. Those are the stats, some very, very impressive numbers, but beneath those numbers are the names. And when you really go back and look, those names don't always hold up under the weight of legacy. Anderson Silva's run as middleweight champion was majestic, but when you peel back the highlight reels and break down the resume, a different picture comes out.
Anderson Silva has some of the most overrated wins in UFC history. Anderson Silva is overrated. It's just a fact. It's just the truth.
Anderson defended his title against fighters like Patrick Cote, Thales Leites, and Damian Maia, who were good fighters, all tough guys, but not all-time greats. His iconic win over Forrest Griffin, while memorable, was against a light heavyweight whose style couldn't have clashed worse with his.
Well, they wanted a big, slow guy to follow Anderson around and make him look real good. And they're like, Forrest is a big, slow guy. He takes a beating well. I'll get him to do it. He's stupid. I'll do all right. I don't worry about it.
Even the Sonnen fights, while legendary in terms of drama, were against a guy who never held a title and whose primary threat was volume wrestling. Silva was a genius in the cage, and his reign marked that era, but take the top name out of his list of victims and remember it. More on that later. Jose Aldo's reign at featherweight was similarly dominant, and rightfully so, given how many years he held the belt. While Anderson Silva clowned his opponents, Aldo, one of the most skilled fighters to ever step foot in the octagon, just simply outclassed them. You can match his speed, you can go combo for combo, and if your plan was to take him down, you should have just thrown in the towel on the way to your demise. Jose Aldo was undefeated for a decade straight. That's some insane levels of longevity, but take a closer look. Many of the names he beat haven't aged as legends. Fighters like Kenny Florian, Mark Hominick, the Korean Zombie, and Ricardo Lamas were his victims, but according to most, he's already been surpassed by Volk in all-time featherweight rankings.
First of all, you see how good Volkanovski really is.
Pound for pound.
Fucking animal.
Yeah.
He's number one, pound
100%.
for pound.
Finally, there's Demetrius Johnson, maybe the most technically flawless fighter to ever step foot in the octagon.
You look at Demetrius Johnson, it's probably right now the best ever. The best ever, yeah, I agree. Like, man, when I talk about confidence and skills, man, what is the better guy than this?
He defended his title 11 times, setting a UFC record that even surpassed Silva's streak, but for all his brilliance, DJ never quite broke through mainstream, not because he didn't deliver, but because the division around him never gave him that marquee rival or blockbuster moment to match his talent. Chris Carriaso, John Maroga, Ali Bakotinov, Wilson Hayes, tough, skilled fighters, but not household names. DJ's reign was pure mastery, but he was ruling over a weight class that, at the time, the UFC itself never fully got behind.
That division is a division that I battled for a very long time and defended and said, are you people crazy? Well, how do you not like these fights? How do you not like the champ? But it never really stuck. It never really became a popular division. So even with such a dominant champion, you know what I mean? Even with an incredibly dominant champion, it didn't do it.
He did everything right inside the cage. Highlight reel submissions, last-second finishes, record after record, but the big crossover moment never came.
There's some people saying that this three-fight stretch is the greatest three-fight stretch in history, not only the names that you beat, but the way you beat them all. Can you just talk about this run that you're on? I mean, can you put this into perspective, what you've done?
It's amazing. It's difficult to explain with the simple words. Like beat guys like Volk, Max Holloway, Charles Oliveira. Not many people in the world can say that.
Compare that to his new breed, the ones whose resume might be shorter, but whose wins are just perfect. They're not making it look easy, because frankly, they can't, but they're walking straight into the fire and coming out the other side with the biggest names carved onto their belts. Dricus du Plessis. The man has maybe a handful of fights in the UFC that really counts, but when you look at who they were against, Robert Whittaker, Sean Strickland, and Israel Adesanya, and given the context around each win, you can't help but prematurely declare him as the new middleweight GOAT. That's 3 champions, 3 elite fighters, all beaten in succession. DP didn't have the benefit of a long reign, but what he had were moments. Beating Whittaker was supposed to be his ceiling. He then outclassed Strickland in a gritty, controversial war, and when he beat Adesanya, one of the most iconic middleweights of the modern era, it cemented his place not in numbers, but in narrative.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
What the fuck
oh
is
my
going
God.
on? What just happened?
He heard him, dude. He
He's
heard
wearing the
him.
whole. Oh shit, he might have this.
Oh no.
He has it. He
Oh,
has
no.
it.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
way.
Oh my God. Drekus is a fucking animal,
That's
dude.
a tough motherfucker.
He's a fucking animal.
That's a
Holy
tough-
shit.
All right, tell me who Silva's most important wins in the UFC. Vitor Belfort, Damian Maia, Chael Sonnen. Now, compare those names to DDP's victory over Robert Whittaker or Israel Adesanya. Quality or quantity? Ilia Topuria too has only a handful of ranked wins, but look at the names. Volkanovski, Holloway, Oliveira. Think about that. Two of the greatest featherweights and the most savage lightweight of all time stopped by a man who hadn't even had a title shot until recently. When he knocked out Volkanovski, he didn't just win a belt, he ended a dynasty, and Topuria made it happen with brutal precision. Then he chased down Max Holloway, who had never been knocked down, let alone knocked out, and went on to flatline Charles Oliveira like no one ever has.
He said he was going to knock him out in the first round, and he did it.
Those aren't just fights. They're moments, and fans will remember where they were when Ilia did what he did. They'll remember the shock, the silence, the chaos. That visual of him sipping tea is cringe, but you look a little bit to the left and see Max frickin' Holloway knocked out, and that moment of cringe becomes a picture-perfect snapshot, something right out of a movie. That's something even 10 title defenses can't buy you.
And he just keeps getting better, and he's getting better with this insane confidence that he has. His confidence is just like above and beyond. To be able to step in there against a guy like Charles Oliveira and say, "I'm sorry that it has to be you."
I mean,
which is what he's been
right
saying.
on the front end. He's trying.
I'm sorry it has
Charles.
to be you.
Says poor Charles.
That's
right?
crazy.
Crazy.
And finally, Alex Pereira, perhaps the best example for this new model of greatness.
How do you think this run of Alex's compares to what Anderson did at that point?
There's no doubt. What this guy has done is unbelievable. Not just in if you want to compare, and the way he's done it. I mean, this guy destroys everybody.
His resume in the UFC reads like a hit list of former champions. Jan Blachowicz, Yuri Prohaska, Jamal Hill, Sean Strickland, Israel Adesanya, all in under 3 years. He's done what takes most fighters a career. What makes Pereira's streak stand out isn't just the names, it's the way he beat them, the stakes each time, that aura that he brings with him. Every fight feels like a main event, like a gladiator bout, like something ancient, violent, and permanent. The man didn't need years to build a legacy. He needed violence, timing, and the biggest names the sport had to offer.
What he has done, how he has elevated, not only at middleweight, but now at light heavyweight, is not like anything I've ever seen before.
The old guard were good, great even. For a long time, Silva, Aldo, Johnson, they gave us consistency, highlight reels, eras we could point to and say, this is the gold standard. No one will ever come close to those numbers. They stacked defenses like bricks in a fortress, and for a while, we thought that was the only way you built a legacy in this game. But this new breed is not building fortresses. They're dropping bombs, and they're here for moments, not marathons. They might never defend a belt 10 times. They might never go undefeated for a decade. But they don't have to, because every time they step into the cage, the stakes are sky high. The build-up is a must-watch. The opponent across from them isn't just another contender. He's a legend in his own right, and when that cage door closes, what happens next isn't just another W on a record. It's a memory that carved itself into the collective consciousness of MMA.
Sit in there with him. Don't sit in there with him. No!
Fuck! Fuck! Fuck!
So, which is better, the fortress or the bomb? 10 defenses against good, not great names, or 3 wins that shook the entire sport? A reign that defined an era, or a moment that rewrote it? Not everyone can be like George St. Pierre, a rare unicorn who combined both quantity and quality, racking up title defenses while clearing out a division full of killers. But my GSP bias aside, that's what makes this debate so compelling and never-ending. Do you crown the king who reigned for years, dispatching every challenger who stepped up, regardless of value? Or do you salute the giant slayer, the guy who showed up, cut through monsters in a whirlwind, and left just as quickly? Is legacy about the numbers and the duration, or about unforgettable impact? Is it about grinding through years of defenses, or carving your name into history with 3 perfect performances? There's no right answer, and maybe that's the beauty of it.